In this video, I want to talk specifically about a very decisive step that Apportionment.us helped coordinate, and that was the filing of a lawsuit against the federal government. And that took place on September 17th of last year, 2009, incidentally Constitution Day. And that lawsuit was filed in United States District Court in the Northern District of Mississippi. And here's what the lawsuit alleged. I talked in the previous video about the unequal treatment of many voters in this country as it relates to their representation in the U.S. House. Now, I'm going to just ask a question here. How many representatives do we have in the United States House? Well, the number is 435. Now, you might be thinking, where did we get such a odd, strange number? Well, the fact of the matter is this number was the size of the United States House in 1910. 100 years ago, our United States House was 435 members. And even though the population in this country has more than tripled in the last 100 years, we still sit today with 435 representatives. Now, you might be thinking, well, why is 435 bad? Well, here's what 435 has created. Because and this got enshrined, by the way, in 1929, based upon what's called the Reapportionment Act of 1929, where they codified or fixed in the United States Code by which we operate our government with 435 members. And what that did is it artificially froze the number. Instead of growing with population, which it had done for the first 120 years of our country, it got frozen at a level which now continues to debase and demean and disenfranchise voters. So the voting power that somebody had in this country 100 years ago was substantially more than what they have today. Because even though we've more than tripled in population, we haven't changed our representation in terms of number at all. And here's why this is so damaging. What's happened is that because of this frozen house size, and it hasn't been allowed to grow with the population, we now have single districts that average over 700,000 people per district. In fact, the state of Montana 10 years ago had over 900,000, and they had one representative. And now for this next census for 2010, they're likely to be very close to 1 million people, and they get one representative. So how on earth can one representative represent all of these different interests? But here's actually what has been created by this artificially small house, is we have dramatically unequal districts. And so the basis of this lawsuit, which is called Clemens v. Department of Commerce, which again was filed last September, and we've gone through a series of briefs, we've had oral argument, and now we're right at the point of pending district court ruling. But we have disparity levels, believe it or not, in this country, even though we talk about equality and equal access and representation and so forth. The disparity between the largest and smallest districts in this country, which are districts that comprise this number of 435, when you compare head to head, are over 80%, 80% unequal. And to put a more specific focus on this, when we talk about real voters, see, these aren't just numbers, but these are real people, you and me, who vote. It takes 183 voters in the state of Montana to equal 100 voters in the state of Wyoming.